What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This one's for the white belt gang. I'm going to show you guys how to pass the half guard. The dreaded half guard, your leg is stuck inside of somebody else's. How do you get it free? Someone just squeezing onto you for dear life. I'm going to show you the most effective way of passing the half guard. Alright, so first thing we need to understand when we're talking about the half guard is, does my partner have a knee shield or is he being silly? Because if he doesn't have his knee shield, there is nothing to stop me from just closing chest to chest. However, the average white belt in your gym won't be using a Z guard variation of half guard. He will just be closing his legs together, locking a triangle, pinching your knees as tight as possible, and then all I have to do from here is just close my distance. See, there are sort of four main things that I'm looking for in this half guard position. Number one is surpassing this knee line. Once I've got control of this, now there is no way for my partner to recover his bottom leg, thus putting me back to closed guard and creating guard retention. If I'm here and my partner knows what he's doing, he has more of a Z guard variation, Tyrone can use different ways of recovering his bottom knee and then try to put me back to the closed guard. So if you bring your knee back to your chest, and shoot it through, see, I need to be aware of those things. So that I want to immediately take away that option, block his knee and step over the top. However that is done. The second thing I need once I've controlled his knee line is now chest to chest connection. So once I've got my weight on top of him from here, now it's very difficult again for him to move me. And the last two things that I need is a crossface and an underhook. Once I have that far shoulder pinned. So if I get a nice deep grip here, this arm is going underneath Tyrone's head. I take my middle finger to his armpit, I pull my elbow back, and now we've got some nice shoulder pressure underneath his chin. You see, that's one of the most important things here, is that my shoulder is not going up here and grazing his face and leaving one of my best friends with a load of ghee burn over his face. I'm going to drop my chest down to his belly and then put my shoulder into his throat. See, it's more effective and a little bit kinder on my friend here. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is make sure I have an underhook. You see, I don't want to be trying to pass guard while he has his control of the underhook. Because even when I do pass, he can turn towards me and then start turning the tables on me once I think I've got out of his legs. So I lock into position and I can secure here. Now, some people will connect the hands together. That's, of course, fine. But I always like the ability to post, just in case my partner does try to bridge me. I can use my hand to post here. This gives me the ability to start opening lapels, pushing trousers, doing whatever I need to do. But in this case, we have our underhook. The next thing I need to do is switch my hip. So I sit my hip down, and that gives me the space to start freeing my knee. So now we've switched to a quarter guard, so it's only my ankle that's left inside. Let's look at that detail again. So I switch my hip, my toes are engaged on bottom. Now I need to start to free my knee. You really squeeze your legs together here. This is going to be hard to do sometimes to get your knee free. I can always release my underhook to simply push on his knee and bring my knee up towards my chest. But I can also use a heel-toe movement. I go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Walk my feet up towards his butt. Now my knee's free. We're into a quarter guard position. So, three different things. If I want to be a bit of a brute, I just keep my shoulder pressure on, grab his knee, pull my leg free. If I want to be a little bit more technical, heel toe. And then obviously I can maintain this underhook and head control position. Now, once we've got this, I'm going to drive this straight across the mount. Now, when we get towards the mount position, what I like to do is really open this knee. I'm not trying to be tight, you see. A lot of people, when you first learn the mount position, you're trying to squeeze your knees together because you're trying to clamp onto the person. What I want to do from here, instead of doing this, you see, if I put my weight into my knees, I take my weight out of my hips, thus taking my weight off his belly. So when I open his knee outwards, here, you see, now I'm almost like a motorbike motorbike racer in the MotoGP, when you see them taking corners and their knees almost touching the floor. That's what I'm doing here. My other knee is actually off the ground. You see, now I have a lot of weight here. I have that chest on face pressure here. Now all I've got to do to open up my partner's legs is use my instep to peel open his knee. See, we'll just do a little switcheroo here. My toes come on the inside, we flare that open, we're into sort of a mounted butterfly, and now I'll hit my foot onto the floor. I can't just release, because my partner can put me back to half guard straight away. So once I open Tyrone's legs, I'm going to point my toes like a ballerina, slap it on the floor like a wet fish, and drop my hip. See, put me back to half guard. See, now I can come back, cross my feet together, and I have a strong mount position already isolating one arm. That could be preparing my arm triangle, Bradaconda system out there, or that could be used to come up towards an S mount position and start preparing for arm locks as well. So let's look at how we set that up. So my partner has a series of frames here. He has his right knee, his left knee, his right hand, and his left hand, you see. We talk about frames with the arms quite often, you see. My partner has his bicep grip, you see. That's stopping me from hugging his head, so I need to work on some arm pummeling. Try to get towards the inside, close the distance. And then we also have frames here. He has his top knee shield, and if he's good, he has a bottom knee shield. You see, a lot of people are a bit lazy here, and that leg's just dangling down, so then I can just hold onto his knee and just essentially close the distance and just walking in towards him. But if my partner knows what he's doing, that knee's going to be lifted. So we might need a little bit of distractions, popping this knee out the way, pushing this knee down, and then surpassing that knee line. So, frames are in place. This hand is cupping onto his waist, just at the top. What I'm going to do is apply some pressure onto Tyrone, and while my left hand's going to hold onto his knee. Make sure we don't flare here. You see, this is screaming Kimura me, you see? And I've got the Northern Kimura on bottom, Mr. Tyrone Elliott, so I don't want to mess around with that. I keep my elbow tucked in, I support his knee, I lean on his knee shield, you see? I make him think about his left leg while I surpass his right leg. Now at the same time, I'm just going to screw my hips back to center. You see? What I don't want to do at this point is stay here for him to just hip escape. And then he escapes his knee. So hold it in place, scurry, and now just circle over the top of this. I'm just going to pummel over his other knee. Boom. Now my underhook is in place. A lot of times it's going to be framed on me already. Grab that shoulder, hug underneath the head. I've got my armpit latched on, and now it's a matter of switching my hips. So I switch, my toes are engaged, and then I free my knee. Drive across, I have a heavy mount position. I use my instep to open up my partner's thigh. We switch our hips, and I secure the mount position. We've scored 7 points now. It's a 7-point move. 3 points for the guard pass, 4 points for the mount. I'm in an excellent situation, ready to start submitting my opponent. So, one more time, apply the pressure, beat your partner's knee line, get over the top of this, scurry to the hips, pummel over the second hip, inch up the body here, hug the head, switch the hips, free that knee, force that quarter guard. Again, you might be here for a little while trying to pry your feet open, because the only thing my partner has on bottom now is just delaying the inevitable of me getting to the mat position. So we will pinch his knees together, you see. Be comfortable in this fight. See, I'm just going to continue pressuring him, maybe potentially setting up my arm triangle, you see. And then eventually I open his feet, I switch my hips to not get put back to half guard again, and then I secure my mat position. We're in that heavy mount. Again, I'm just showing you for the technique I'm coming up, but in sparring, I'd be keeping that underhook, isolating his arm, and more than likely transitioning to a nice high mount for me to secure my S-mounted arm lock. And simple way of passing the half guard position and also securing the mount. Again, 7-point move. You put in some proper points on the board now, really putting your opponent under pressure, and then we start working on a submission once we've got to the mount. Remember your main principles of you're moving up the body joint by joint. So we've got to the half guard. Now all we need to do is to pass the knee line, the hip line, and then up to the shoulders. One of the biggest mistakes people make as a white belt is rushing to the head. I cover this a lot in the 3 guard passes that every white belt should know. So if you haven't already, watch that and you will learn these concepts as well. But one of the most important things here is that we move those knee shields, we control the hips, and then we fight for the shoulders until we can get to the head. So don't rush that process, spend some time at the hips and really isolate your opponent. Then we can work straight into that mount position and we create a dilemma where we're also working for the mount as well as the guard pass. So really apply that pressure, secure your underhook, and we're going to score some easy passes on your partners in the gym. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another Techers Tuesday. Os.